one of my favorite songs. It's one of my son's favorite songs too. He knows every lyric to that song. So anyways, enough of that. Just wanted to get fired up as we get this training started. Let me go ahead and stop sharing my screen and bring up what I am actually going to share. So 1 second here. Hope you guys are doing great. By the way, if you have a, if you are able to share your screen, please go ahead and share your screen. Okay, if you're not able to share your screen, that's okay. But if you are able to share your screen and open up your camera, I would greatly appreciate that. And I'm going to start sharing some information that we talked about in last week's training. Okay, last week's training, we had an incredible training. I had some incredible feedback. By the way, that training is available on YouTube. If you need it, private message me and I'll send it to you. Also, it's on the Power Hitters team. So you could go ahead and find it on the Power Hitters team, right? If it's not there, I'm pretty sure I posted it there. If it's not there, let me know and I'll go ahead and post it. So anyways, guys, my name is JC Rangel and I'm very, very excited to be here with you guys and to share some information with you. And again, if you could turn on your camera, turn it on. Don't be shy. If you want to make a lot of money, guys, you don't make a lot of money by being shy. Now, if you can't turn it on, that's okay. If you're at work or something like that and you can't turn it on, then I don't want you to get in trouble or anything like that. So 1 second here. Make me the host. Yes. Okay. Okay, perfect. So let's go ahead and get this training started. Okay, guys. Mike, I appreciate that. Michelle, I appreciate that as well. Okay. So, okay, let's go ahead and make it happen. So here's the deal, guys. I've been involved in direct sales and network marketing more than half of my life. I'm now 37 and I started at the age of 18. And when I got started at the age of 18, I wasn't very successful at all, like at all. Okay, so when I got started at 18, I wasn't successful, but at 18, I made my goals to build a huge network marketing organization and to retire my mom by the age of 30. By the time I was 30 years old, my goal was to retire my mom. I ended up retiring her by the age of either 27 or 28. I don't quite remember. So at the age of, let's say 28, I went to my mom. She used to work for a rich lady in Beverly Hills and cleaning her house. So I went to my mom and I said, Mom, you don't have to go to work tomorrow. As a matter of fact, you don't have to go to work again. Welcome to the rest of your life. And since that day, right, what was that? 10, 11 years ago, over a decade ago, since that day, my mom has not had to work for anybody else. And that was one of my biggest whys, one of my biggest drivers was to be able to retire my mom. Okay, and that happened. Now, the only reason why that happened is because I learned some skills. I had the right business at the right time, and I learned how to build leverage, which is what we're going to talk about here today. So for those of you guys that don't understand what I mean when I say leverage, leverage simply means getting paid. By the way, if you're not mute all, yes. So building leverage simply means getting paid from the efforts of other people. And that's exactly what we're doing. We're getting paid off of the efforts of other people. I'm a firm believer of not having linear income, meaning income that depends on me showing up to work, whether it's a sales job or a traditional job. What if I get sick? Or what if a pandemic hits, right? So that's exactly what we've got, right? But some people are able, through some skills, to turn a pandemic into a plandemic of their own, right? Because that's where they put the plan together to go out there and crush it. That's where they put the plan together to go out there and have a different 2021. So for example, one of the things that I like is not only building a leveraged income, but also building a leveraged income that I could work from home. So I'm here in my home office right now. And the things that I'm going to train on right now, I'm able to do right from my home office and make great income from the comfort of my home. I don't ever have to leave my home if I don't want to, right? So anyways, with that being said, let's go ahead and get into the skills that we've got to master. So the first skill that we've got to master is finding prospects. Okay, guys, finding prospects. And I'm going to give you guys some tips on finding prospects. Let me go ahead and let Mike in. So finding prospects. So the first question that comes to the mind of every prospect is, do I know anybody, right? no matter what business you're in. So we're in the solar business. I opened up this training for anybody in any industry, right? Because it's very generic. It's about 95% generic. But I'm going to talk about my story, right? And about how this applies to me and to my team. So do I know anybody? Do I know anybody that may be interested in doing what I'm doing in this business, in this career path? Do I know anybody that may want to buy what it is that I'm selling? In our case, we're in the solar business. We sell solar. Here's one thing I'll tell you, man. 99% of people know somebody that can either buy what you're selling or know somebody that can buy what you're selling. So now, if you can help the prospect from a list of people, let me let Christine in. Okay. If you can make them know in their head that they are able to do what it is that you do, okay, you can overcome that first hurdle. Okay. So the first thing that the prospect is thinking is, hey, can I do this? Do I want to do this? Do I know any people that may want to buy what I'm selling or may want to do this opportunity? So that is a hurdle that we have to overcome, right? And here's a deal. Here's a lesson in recruiting, okay? And this is a golden nugget. Those of you guys that attend my trainings, you hear this all the time, okay? Write this down. Amateurs convince, professionals sort. Amateurs convince and professionals sort. An amateur will try to convince, an amateur will have a small list of people. An amateur will not have a constantly growing list. And an amateur, what they try to do is that they'll try to convince people to join their opportunity. A professional, first of all, has a significantly bigger list that is constantly growing. And here's what they do. They're not in the convincing business. They have posture. They understand that they've got an opportunity. See, for example, I know and I believe, and this is what if you're not here, you got to get here. Here's what I believe. I believe that anybody that works with me is going to be better off working with me than not working with me. If you give me a lie detector test, I will pass that lie detector test. I believe that anybody business-wise, in a couple of topics, but right now we're talking about business. Business-wise, I believe that anybody that does business with me is going to be better off than not doing business with me. This is part of the reason why January, I'm launching my podcast. So here's my shameless advertising. I'm launching a podcast called Driven, Not Given. But this also ties into what we're doing here. There's a lot of creative ways these days to network with people. One of the ways to network with people, that's not for everybody. I must admit, this is not for everybody. But there's so many things, something is for you. So I don't have a problem recruiting people, helping other people recruit people, making sales, training people. I don't have a problem with that at all. But I want to step it up. I've got very, very big goals for 2021. And my team has very big goals. So one of the things that I'm doing is I am starting a podcast. First of all, because I want to. Second of all, I want to meet other professionals in different industries. And I want to meet some of the top people. Not only that, it grows your following if you do it right, right? You build relationships with people that you respect. So I've got world champion fighters that fight on TV right now that are going to be on my podcast. And it's called Driven, Not Given. And it's a mindset podcast about how to go from zero to hero, right? Some of the podcasts I'm going to do on my own because I've got some messages that I believe are very powerful and bring a lot of value. But instead of just doing them on Facebook, I'm going to do them on a podcast, right? So the point that I'm getting to is that a professional has a backbone, not a wishbone. And I want you to write that down. An amateur convinces, and why do they convince? Because they have a wishbone where a backbone should be, okay? Because think about this. If I make a list of 200 people that I'm going to contact, and an amateur makes a list of 17 people they're going to contact, their posture is not going to be the same because they don't have that big of a list of contact. Then they don't attend the trainings. Then they don't work on themselves. They're not plugged in. They're not committed. So guess what? Their posture is not going to be the same as mine. I know that I got an incredible business. I know that I'm making a lot of money. I know that my team is making a lot of money. So my posture is different than that posture that I used to have before I had these results and before I need this information. So your list, working through your contacts, networking events, social media, asking for referrals, okay? So here's a couple places that we find prospects? First of all is our contacts. That is the first place you should start. Your phone contacts and your Facebook contacts, social media, okay? The next place, okay, the next place that you do not know is on social media. Excuse me, I'm reading this too fast. By the way, this is a training that I did, and I did this training specifically for a network marketing company. It was a training specifically for them. So I wrote out the script and the questions and everything like that. And so I was reading this off of a teleprompter, okay? So our contacts on our phone, the next place is Facebook groups. So for example, I'll give you an example. I'm in the solar business. So I don't have that much time to do this, but I still do this here and there. And now I have my assistant doing this on my behalf. So here's what I do. Since I am in the solar business, you might be in the credit repair business. You might be into the CBD business, whatever the case may be, right? But the majority of the people that are on this training here are in the solar business. Guess what? Going into real estate groups is a good place. Going into groups where you can find roofers is a good place, because recruiting some roofers to your team would be a smart idea. Recruiting some realtors to your team would be a smart idea. Imagine if you get to the point where by the end of 2021, you've got 10 to 20 real estate agents that send you every one of their clients that needs solar. Would that be a good place to be? Absolutely. There are people that have that. And if there are people that have that, you have that. And guess what? There's over 2 million real estate agents in the United States. So you apply this to whatever business you're in, because we got people here from other businesses. Whatever business that you are in, right? Guess what you should do? Join some of these groups. Now, here's what I do when I join these groups, and I touched on this last week. I look at people, I interact with them on the groups, I add some of those people. When I get the notification that they have requested me, that they have accepted me, rather, I inbox them. Now, I don't inbox them to pitch them. I inbox them to build a relationship. So let's say it's Isela that accepted my request. And let's say she's a realtor. I will probably write something like this. Hey, Isela, thank you for accepting my request. Happy holidays. I hope that in 2021, you close more escrows than you ever have. God bless. Simple, to the point. But see, now here's the deal. Some people won't even reply to you, but a lot of people will write back, hey, thank you. Some people are going to go and look at your profile. That's why your profile needs to look like what you're about. You can't be a secret agent. If you go to my profile, you know that I'm a solar broker. You know that what I do is I'm in the solar business. I also own a credit repair company. I don't really promote that much because I have another page that somebody else manages, and that's what they do. And guess what they do? They join real estate groups and solar groups, and they add people. When they get those requests, they send the same message to every person. They just change the name. Now what they're doing is they're building a relationship. So now that you've done that, guess what? Interact with these people on purpose. They make a post, like it, comment it, put an emoji, whatever the case is, interact with them, right? And so I've recruited some of the sharpest people on social media. Why? Because I'm on purpose about it, right? Okay, don't spam those groups. Very important. Those groups are not for you to join and spam those groups, but rather interact and get to know people in those groups. Also, there's networking events. Obviously, in this day and age, networking events are not happening so much. They're happening on, but they are happening on Zoom. Events like Chamber of Commerce, BNI. There are thousands of events that you can attend. There's also meetup.com or eventbrite.com. You can find events. But for example, BNI is a great group to go to. And you could go as a guest 3 times to one particular chapter. You could go to another chapter. And you can network with 10 to 30 agents in an hour and a half. Okay? Those are great places to go, because here's the deal. Direct sales and network marketing is a contact sport. The more contacts you make, the better you're going to do. Not only that, when you go to one of these BNI groups, whether it's live or via Zoom, they give you about 30 seconds for you to do your pitch. So if it's me, I'm going to go on there and say, hey, my name is JC Rangel from so-and-so, and I'm in the solar business, and I help homeowners cut their bill in half and have a stable bill that'll never go up. If you guys have any questions, I love to answer them. Thank you. Right? But guess what? Now you got 15, 20, 30 people that heard your pitch. Some of them are going to inbox you. Some of them are going to connect with you afterwards. And guess what? I connect with them on social media, because social media is a way for you to follow up with people without following up with people. Because remember, before social media, If you got somebody's business card, maybe you call them, interact with them. But how would you keep in touch with them? By calling them. How would you know what they're up to? By calling them, by texting them. Now with social media, they know what you're up to. So if they know that what you're up to is whatever business you're in my case, a solar business, and I'm making sales and I'm having installs and I've got people on my team making sales and I'm posting about it, I'm sharing tips about it, there's no question about it. They know it. So guess what? In finding prospects, here's another tip. You need to be Mr. or Mrs. fill in the blank, whatever you do. If you're in the weight loss business, you need to be Mr. or Mrs. weight loss. If you're in the solar business, Mr. or Mrs. solar. If you're a realtor, Mr. or Mrs. real estate professional. Mr. or Mrs. American dream professional, right? Whatever the case may be. Let's go to the next one. Inviting. So finding prospects. The basic thing is make a list of over 100 people, block out the time, call those people up. And I'm going to get into some of the scripts. If we've got time, I'll get into some of the scripts and some of the things that I say. Okay. And I'll give you this one because one of my favorite ones for an aggressive prospect of mine. So let's say, for example, I've got my buddy Eddie, and let's say Eddie has a great attitude and Eddie is ambitious. I might give him a call, and one of my invites, here's what one of my invites works. Doesn't work on everybody. You have to know your audience. Now, there are generic ones that are pretty good for anybody if you don't know their personality, but for the most part, when we make a list of people, we know their personality. So let's say I call Eddie. I ring Eddie. Eddie answers the phone. And I say, Eddie, how's it going, brother? I hope that you and your family are doing well during these crazy times. Yeah, I'm doing well. Great. Hey, listen, Eddie, I know you're busy. I don't want to take a lot of your time, but the reason why I'm calling you, Eddie, is what are you doing tonight at 5 o'clock, okay, Pacific time, that's more important than you learning how to make $20,000 per month from home in the next 6 months, by the way? What do you got going on today at 5 o'clock that's more important than you learning how to make $20,000 per month from home within the next 6 months? See, if Eddie has a great attitude and is ambitious, that's going to pique his interest. What if he says, well, I was going to go to dinner with my girlfriend at that time. We're going to have an early dinner. He might reconsider 5 o'clock to 6 o'clock. And I would bring that up to him and say, well, I mean, listen, if this interests you, would you, any way you go to dinner at 6 or 6:30 instead of 5? Right? Why? Because I'm bold. See, the old me would have just been like, oh, okay, cool. All right, no problem. But see, it all depends on your posture. See, Tony Robbins talks about this. And you get this with experience. You get this by getting trained. Because think about this. Most people are tamed. Most people, through life, most people are tamed. Because everybody was born to be great. Everybody was born relentless. And I'm going to prove this to you. Check this out. When you were a baby, you were relentless. You were hungry and you cried until you got fed. If you went to the restroom on your diaper, you cried until they fixed that diaper. Somewhere along the line, people were tamed to be average and mediocre, and that's why most people don't achieve a lot of things in life, because they're trained and tamed to be mediocre and average. Kids were told kids are to be seen, not heard. Can you make a lot of money in your business, regardless of what business it is, if you're only to be seen but not to be heard? No, that'd be stupid. That would be silly. Kids are to be seen, not heard. Listen, if you want to make a lot of money in this day and age, you're to be seen and heard. But see, you got to be heard strategically. Does that make sense? You got my wife. My wife is my wife right now because at one point I met her and I said, what's her name? Here's her name. Is she on social media? This is back in the MySpace days when I met her. Yeah, guess what I did? I went on social media and I looked for her and I added her. That was step number one, right? Guess what? That's the ultimate recruit that I've got. And now we have a sales organization, a organization, which is called our son, and hopefully another baby in the future, right? So guess what? It started by me making that connection. Then guess what? It didn't start with me see, here's what happens. When people go out there and add somebody, then they go in there with their pitch. Obviously, that's a rookie move. When they do that and they go in there with their pitch, it's the equivalent of me adding my wife and going in there in her inbox and say, hey man, would you like to make love someday? Wouldn't that be outrageous? Of course it would. So if I wouldn't do that, I of course would not want to go to hit a home run with a prospect that I just added on the first. That's why it's just an introduction. Hey man, hope you're doing well, blah, 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 blah. You know, whatever the case may be, right? So anyways, inviting. So let's get into the key to inviting. The key to inviting is not to hunt your prospects. Don't go around looking for every single person and telling them about your business. The goal is to inviting is to educate people on what you do. The more people that understand what you do, the more your business is going to grow. So I'm going to get into a few rules. So educating them on what you do, but additionally building a relationship. Okay. Rule number one, you must be emotionally detached from the outcome. That's what a professional does. Remember I said amateurs convince and professionals sort. Amateurs, not only do they try to convince, but they are emotionally attached to the no. So here's what happens. An amateur calls and tries to prospect somebody for the product, services, or opportunity. They get a rejection. That emotion they take to the next prospect. Why? Because that's a rookie move, and that's what rookies do. Write this down. Winners do what winners do. And what do winners do? Winners are emotionally detached from the outcome. Winners sort. They don't convince. If I make 10 phone calls right now, I call Laura, not interested. Michelle, not interested. Eddie, not interested. Isela, not interested. Anthony is interested. Great. I go sort, not interested. Great. Thank you. By the way, thank you for telling me that you're not interested. The reason why I say thank you is because I'm not wasting time. I'm not wasting time. By the way, thank you, Keenan and Greg. So I'm not, by the way, if you guys have some information you want to share on the chat, some questions, feel free. I'm firing off phone calls. I don't make phone calls. I fire off phone calls. I block out time. Let's say from 3 to 4:30. What am I going to do from 3 to 4:30? I'm going to fire off prospecting phone calls. I don't look at my social media during that time. I tell my wife and my son from 3 to 4:30, I don't want no interruptions. I don't want no water. I don't want no coffee. I don't want anything. This is a time block. And guess what I do? I sit down and I have the discipline to fire off phone calls. And when I'm firing off phone calls, rule number one is I'm emotionally detached from the outcome. Just like when I used to knock on doors. I used to knock on doors from 12 o'clock p.m., noon, to 8 p.m. when I was 18 years old. That was one of the first jobs I had. I used to be a door knocker. And they told us, you're going to not even get any sales from 12 to 6. You're not going to get sales. You're going to find all the old people that are not going to buy and all the unemployed people that don't have the money to buy. It's all good. But come 6 o'clock, you've already been knocking in the sun for 6 hours. Come 6 o'clock, it's game time. You better have even better energy than you did at 12 o'clock because that's when you make your money the last 2 hours. And guess what? That system worked, and that system was the truth. Okay? And guess what we did? We went from 12 to 3. Took a 30-minute break from 3 to 3:30. Usually it was like $1 hamburger because we were broke. And then guess what? From 3:30 to 8, we went crunch time. Bam, 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 bam. So that's why when people come to me with excuses, oh, somebody said no to me or somebody rejected me or somebody quit my business. I'm like, come on, man. It takes grit to build a big business. So I'm emotionally detached from the situation, okay? The next one, rule number 2. Be yourself. A lot of people, they try to be somebody different. Okay. This makes everyone uncomfortable. Just be yourself. Now, here's the deal. You want to bring some passion. Rule number 3, enthusiasm is contagious. Okay. It's okay to be a little bit fired up. It's okay to get fired up, get focused. Here's the deal though. If you normally are a very mellow guy or girl, you don't want to be from a level 2 to a level 10. Now you're the weird guy. If you're normally at a level 2 energy, go to a level 4 or 5 because anything above that just isn't real. So yes, get excited, okay? Get fired up, get focused, make those phone calls. If you got to listen to some music that inspires you, do some push-ups or whatever you got to do, get inspired to make it happen. Rule number 4, you want to have strong posture. Watch professionals in the industry and notice that they all have strong posture. They have a backbone, and we talked about this earlier. Okay. They're bold and confident. Now, here's the deal. Write this down. Act as if. Act as if and practice it. here's what one of the things that helped me out when I was prospecting people is that I started calling and I started little by little adding some of these things to my repertoire, right? Then what I started doing is I started going inside the restroom and in front of the mirror, and I used to start practicing my pitch. By the way, another side note, practice your pitch with teammates. Trust me when I tell you, practice your pitch with teammates and let them get hard on you. You want to get to where, see, I've done martial arts all my life since I was 11 years old. I'm a black belt in karate. I won a world title in karate, in kickboxing as well. And guess what? One of the things that we taught there that we teach now is this. You want to get so good to where the mind forgets, but the body remembers. The mind forgets, but the body remembers. Your mouth is a part of the body. So here's the deal. I remember when I wasn't prepared for a fight, I'd be in the middle of a fight and I'd be thinking of what I'm going to do next. If this person does this, I'm going to do this. If this person does this, I'm going to do this. That's when you're not prepared. When you are prepared, because you attend the training, because you practice, see, the practicing with your team, the role playing, we call in martial arts drills. I throw a 2, 3 and you block, and then I throw a kick and you block. That's a drill. That's like a pitch, like a practice pitching, right? And then we just do it over and over, boom, boom, boom. So guess what? In a fight, when somebody does it, we block, block, block. The mind forgets, the body remembers. Your body just does it. So when I was in a competition, when my mind was clear and I didn't care what the other person was going to throw, I didn't think about it. I just knew whatever he throws, my body is just going to react properly to that. The same thing happens with sales. So when you role play with people and you give them a call and you're practicing with people, right? You see that. Another thing that I recommend is record yourself. Record yourself when you're doing these calls, because you will find all of the, you know what I mean, right? All of the little things that you can critique yourself and then say, let's do it again and practice it over and over. Then before you know it, boom, 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 you say your pitch, you get a little rebuttal. You've already practiced the rebuttals a million times. All of a sudden, the mind forgets, the body remembers. Boom, you get that rebuttal. Oh yeah, boom. Not only do you answer the rebuttal, but you answer the rebuttal with the proper posture, the proper tone, and it just goes. Because a lot of times rebuttals, they're simply little tests, unconscious tests that your prospect is giving you to see if you know what you're talking about. Okay, so you want to have posture, act as if. The other thing I'll give you is this. This, by the way, I'm going to give you a golden nugget. I'm going to give you a golden nugget. I highly recommend that you take notes. And let me get my charger from my computer first. Give me 1 minute. All right, guys, I'm back. I just got to connect this before my computer dies. By the way, anybody that can turn on your camera, go ahead and turn it on. I appreciate that. So here is a golden nugget that I want to share with you. And I learned this from John Addison. John Addison. Look him up. John Addison has an audio. It's called Never Take Advice from Anybody More Screwed Up Than You Are. I would highly encourage everybody on here to listen to that audio. Never take advice from anybody more screwed up than you are. He was a CEO of Primerica for a long, long time. Absolute stud, complete stud. Okay. He said, and it relates to act as if. He said, act the way you want to feel, and soon you will feel the way you act. Act the way you want to feel, and soon you will feel the way you act. Let me take a picture of these good-looking people for the gram. So act the way you want to feel, and soon you will feel the way you act, right? What does that mean? Act as if. Act as if you are already making $10,000 a month, $20,000 a month, $100,000 a month, whatever that number is for you. If you're already at 10 grand a month, don't act like that. Act like you're making 50 grand a month, 100 grand a month. Remember, everything is created 2 times. First is created in the mind, then it's created in the physical. This room that I'm in, that car that you're in, that house that you're in, was first created in somebody's mind, then it was manifested in reality. Okay, the you version that's making the income that you want to make, that has a sales organization that you want to have, has to first be created in your mind. You have to first visualize that person, visualize that income in that organization in your mind, make it a burning obsession, put a game plan to achieve it, and go out there and take step by step. In The Science of Getting Rich, that book, Wallace Wattles teaches that if every day is a successful day and you have consistent successful days, it'll be impossible for you to fail. Okay? And so guess what? Most people, here's a reason why most people do not achieve success. The reason why most people do not achieve success is because they have too many stops and too many distractions. Too many starts and stops and too many distractions. They'll join a business, they'll get excited about the business, but then the idea fairy comes in their mind. At the end of the day, here's what I focus on. Sell, recruit, and train. Now, each one of these has different branches, if you will. But at the end of the day, when I get up in the morning, my focus is to sell, lead by example, because I want my team to sell, recruit others to sell, and train my team to do everything. That's what I do. Then I help my team sell, recruit others to sell, because I have a goal that by the end of 2021 to be making a $200,000 per month income. I know what it takes to do that. So every day I get up and I know I chip away at it. That's my goal. Let's chip away at it. That's my goal. Every day, let's chip away at it. And let's find the runners. Because here's the deal. There's 3 kinds of people when building a sales organization you're going to find. And this is a part of building a team that's important. Because it isn't just about who you bring on board, it's who you spend your time with. Because then that's wasting your time, right? So check this out. Here's the 3 people. There's the crawlers. What do you do with the crawlers? You crawl with the crawlers. There's the walkers. What do you do with the walkers? You walk with the walkers. And then there are the runners. What do you do with the runners? You make them a lot of money. That's what you do with the runners. With the runners, you identify those people and you go to work with the runners, right? You go and you invest your time, and most of you guys, or all of you guys, have probably heard of the 80-20 rule. In any sales organization, 80% of the people will do 20% of the production. In any organization, 80% of the people will do 20% of production, and 20% of the people will do 80% of the production. Therefore, 80% of my time, I give it to the 20%ers that are doing 80% of the production. And 20% of my time is given to the other 80%. The sometimers, not the entrepreneurs, but the wantrepreneurs, not the go-hitters, but the bullshitters. Does that make sense? That's where I give 80% of my time, because guess what? All I could do is work with the willing. And most people are not willing to do these things. Number 3, presenting. The largest obstacle in presenting is understanding that you are not the issue. Remember that if a prospect can see themselves with a successful business, the presentation is complete. So in the beginning, you have to understand, and I do this till this day, you are only the messenger and not the message. Eventually, you will be a presenter if you choose to. You don't have to be a presenter ever, okay? But when you barely get started, you want to leverage others. I'll give you an example. Every Monday, and for my team, you guys know this, every Monday at 5 o'clock Pacific Standard Time, we have a company overview done by corporate. It's a great presentation. I get solar professionals, network marketing professionals, real estate professionals, and I invite to that 5 o'clock meeting. Is everybody going to make it to that meeting? No. But guess what? Write this down when it comes to recruiting. This is a golden nugget. Some people invite to recruit and others recruit to invite. And I'm going to tell you what that means. This is one of the major keys that turn shit around for me. Excuse my language. I didn't mean to cuss. That's one of the major things that turn things around. Give an example. Let's say I get my buddy, hey, Anthony. Anthony says, I'm going to be on the 5 o'clock webinar, JC. Great. Come 5 o'clock, he's missing in action. He's MIA, right? The rookie JC would have said, hey, Anthony, no problem. We got another one next week. Then I'm going to wait another 7 days to get him on a webinar. Bad mistake. That is inviting to recruit. Rather, hey, Anthony, how's it going, buddy? I saw you weren't able to make it on the meeting. Yeah, no, I wasn't able to make it, but I had an emergency. Hey, no problem. I understand. Happens all the time. Check this out. Luckily for you, we have a pre-record. Basically, what happens today at 5 o'clock, we have a pre-recorded presentation already recorded. Let me go ahead and get that over to you, okay? He says, yeah, sounds good. By the way, Anthony, when I get this recording over to you, by when do you think you would have already watched it? I'm asking that way I can follow up with you and answer your questions. You know what? By tomorrow noon, I already watched it. I'm going to have dinner with my family. Today is not a good day, but in the morning, I'll watch it. By noon, for sure, I'm done. Sounds good. I'm going to put a reminder on my phone. At 12:01, you'll receive a call from me. Sound fair enough? Yes, great. Let's say, for example, I give him a call at 12:01. Said, hey, man, I watched it. Sounds pretty good. I got a couple questions. I'll get his questions answered. The goal is to recruit him, get him a part of my team. That's Tuesday. Guess what? Now we can start getting him trained. Hopefully getting a little team together. But let's say, for example, we get him trained and we just get him to build a team of 2 people between that Tuesday that he signed up and next Monday. Come Monday, what if him and his 2 guys get 2 guests each? Now I got 3 new distributors as a part of my team and 6 guests on next Monday instead of having possibly 1 guest, Anthony, as my guest next Monday. That is a difference between inviting to recruit or recruiting to invite. One of the ways that I recruit a whole bunch of people is I have a pre-recorded presentation that I have seen, that I like, that I'm happy with, and I get people to watch that presentation. Why? Because I don't have time to be presenting to everybody. Not only that, presenting to everybody is not duplicatable. You imagine I join the business, I get you in front of me, and I do a presentation myself. The prospect may say, 2 things is going to happen. The prospect may say, JC, that was a great presentation, but I can't do what you do. So I'm going to pass because this whole presentation you did for me, that's awesome. But I don't see myself doing that. Now, on the contrary, what if I give them a little snippet invite, something anybody can do. Then I get them to watch, this is a key, third-party information, a pre-recorded webinar or live webinar done by somebody else. Now he's thinking, that wasn't so hard. You piqued my interest with a simple invite. Then you got the video or somebody else to present the information to me. Is that all I got to do to be successful? To build a team? You sure do. That's what you got to do. Hey, man, I could do this. That's what you want to get the prospect to, where the prospect is saying, hey, man, I can do this. Does that make sense? So I have in my phone, I have a notes app, right? It's this one here. And in my notes app, I've got videos, right? I got Powur videos. That's the name of my company. These are all of the videos that I send to people. One of them is strictly compensation. The other one is, because let's say, for example, I got somebody that already knows about the company. He says, hey, man, I just want to know the details of the comp plan. How do we make money? I already got a video for that. Here's a video for you. I got a 5-minute teaser video for homeowners, right? Because we sell solar. So this is a video when I prospect the homeowner and they're thinking about it. By the way, here's a video of my company, some of the benefits of solar. I let the video do the explaining for me. Very often, customers will call me, hey, I took a look at the video. When can we get a proposal? Right? But guess what? The videos, so I can have 10 prospects watching the video at once, right? Piquing their interest, right? And then they come to me. So I use the tools to do the heavy lifting for me. Just like if you're going to build something, you got some tools that make it easier, right? Same thing, right? So anyways, let's move forward. And move this out the way. Okay. The follow-up. In building a huge organization, you and your team getting good at follow-up is important. There's an old saying, prospecting is everything, but the fortune is in the follow-up. And I'm going to ramp things up right now. 48% of salespeople never follow up on a prospect. This is so incredibly real, and I think that number is bigger than that. I think it's more than 48% of salespeople. 25% of salespeople follow up a second time and stop. 12% of salespeople only make 3 contacts and then they stop. Okay. So here's the deal. Understand this. This follow-up averages, percentages sucks. That's why most salespeople are struggling because they don't follow up. Here's my philosophy on following up, by the way. And I think successful people's philosophies, in this case, I'm successful at recruiting. I've got a successful business, right? When it comes to recruiting and team building, I believe it's important to know these people's philosophies. Here's my philosophy. Let's say, for example, it's Austin. And Austin is on my prospecting list. Austin is joined the witness protection program. He's not answering my calls, right? Had an opportunity webinar to show up, but he didn't show up. Here's my philosophy. I'm going to get a hold of Austin one way or another. I'm looking forward to getting a hold of him to get a no. I don't care, but I'd rather get a no than a no-show. Does that make sense? So tell me yes, tell me no, I don't care. I'm not emotionally attached to it, but I put the pressure on them to tell me no. Hey man, at least have the courage to tell me no. Now, I'm not disrespectful about it. I'm not blowing up their phone about it. So let's say he missed tonight's webinar. I give him a call after the webinar. Hey, Austin, he sends me the voicemail. Send him a text. Hey, Austin, missed you on tonight's webinar. Give me a call when you get a chance, bro. Austin doesn't reply to me. Next day goes by. I might give him a call. Doesn't answer. I won't text him. I'll probably wait till Friday, 4 days later, right? I'll probably shoot him another call. Still doesn't answer me. Next Monday, a couple days later, I might shoot him a text. Hey, Austin, I hope this message finds you well. Hey, Austin, I hope I didn't insult you in any way because I haven't heard from you. If I did, my apologies, Austin. I certainly didn't mean to insult you in case I did insult you. So anyways, man, hope you and the family are doing well. Again, my apologies if I insulted you. That's one of my follow-ups with people. Notice a sequence of when I follow up with them, right? I'm not following up every day. Because not only that, because if you got a long enough list and if you're being productive, you don't have time to follow up with somebody every single day, and you shouldn't anyways. Now you look desperate. I got some dude that was trying to sell me solar leads. I was going to give him a chance. He messaged me on Friday. I said, hey, bro, I'm not available today. I'm not available right now, but in about 2 hours, I'll be available. Why don't we try to talk in 2 hours? Long story short, I got busy. I had every intention of talking to him, every intention of talking to him. Okay. He, to his credit, he did call me back. And I missed the call. I didn't even notice it until later. Then comes Saturday, doesn't follow up on me. Sunday, he's following up with me. But he goes, hey, man, you didn't show up. And I said, show up to what? So then he gets mad. He says, hey, man, you said that you wanted to talk business. I think you're a poser because you want to talk business. You didn't show up. I said, first of all, dude, you're messaging me on a Sunday, man. I'm with my family. I'm not going to take your damn call. I gave you the opportunity to pitch me, and you want to be disrespectful like that. Now I'm not going to give you. I said, I got 15 guys minimum that are looking for leads. And I was going to give you the opportunity to at least pitch me. And if you got a good deal, not only will I get them, but I'll help you. And I got a team that'll get them. The dude missed out on an opportunity. Why? Because he was desperate. Guess why he was probably desperate? Maybe because he wasn't very successful. And that's okay. But also probably didn't have a big enough list to follow up and doesn't know the proper sequence to follow up. So at least he's following up. That's better than not following up. But the reason why I mentioned my sequence is because I want to get to the point. And that text that I just told you, where I said, hey, man, I'm sorry if I insulted you, that gets about 25 to 35% of people to text me back. Hey, man, my bad, bro. No, you didn't insult me. I just been busy. Or they'll just tell me straight up, hey, man, my bad. Blah, blah, blah. Hey, man, it's just not for me, man. I thought about it. I don't care. I just want you to tell me something. I said, great. Because I'm going to keep you on my follow-up list until you tell me yes or no. Even if I follow up with you once a year, guess what? I'm going to keep you on my follow-up list because here's what the numbers look like. Let's understand this. 2% of sales are made on the first contact. 3% of sales, let's see here, where's this guy saying? Sure does. Thank you, Joel. He agrees with the follow-up sequence. 3% of sales are made on the second contact, 5% are made on the third, 10% are made on the fourth, and 80% of sales are made on the 5th to the 12th contact. And guess what? fifth contact, check this out. Only 12% of salespeople make 3 contacts and then stop. That is why tops, and by the way, if you're in network marketing and in a team building, direct sales, you're a salesperson. One of the things I don't like about network marketing, I love network marketing, but one of the things I don't like is a couple of things. Number one, it's going to be easy. No, it's not. It's hard. And that's okay. The other thing is that they say, you're not a salesperson. We're not salespeople. We share. That's bullshit. You're a salesperson. And guess what? That's okay. There's nothing wrong with sales. But I also understand the concept of, hey, listen, people don't want to be salespeople. So, you get them in. But the truth is, if you're selling somebody on an opportunity, you're doing exactly that. You're selling an opportunity. If you got products that you sell, you're selling. I believe that when you own that you are a sales professional and commit to being a sales professional, direct sales, and a network marketing professional, that's when you're going to go to the next level. Next week, next Monday, there's 7 steps. I only shared 4. We got no time for all 7. So I'm not going to share the other 7, but I will share this. Okay. The reason why we build a team is to build leverage, to get paid on other people. And in 5 minutes, we're going to be done. The reason why we build a sales team is to build leverage, to get paid, right, on the efforts of other people. And the cool thing about direct sales and network marketing is that you have that ability to build an organization, get paid off the efforts of other people, but all of them have the exact same opportunity that you do. Is that right? And Ramon, yes, message me directly, Ramon, and I'll send you that 5-minute video. It's on YouTube. But I'll send it to you, right? So here's the deal. Here's 5 forms of leverage. The most successful people in the world love leverage. One of my favorite words in the world is leverage. And here's a quote on leverage. Give me a lever long enough and a fulcrum on which to place it, and I shall move the world. You can move the world with leverage. In this business, direct sales, network marketing, this is a business where you can benefit from the biggest amount of leverage. And here's the 5 different leverages. OPM. You can leverage other people's money. I remember when I started my first network marketing company at 18 years old, I didn't have the money. But I went to a friend of mine, right? And I asked if she can let me borrow the money, right? And I leveraged somebody else's money. If you're doing a real estate deal, you can leverage a bank's money. Then other people's time. Okay, OPT, other people's time. Indirect sales, you can leverage other people's time. OPI, other people's experience. Other people's ideas. And then OPE is other people's experience, and OPW, other people's work. Okay. Through building a team, you can leverage all of this. Other people's money, other people's time, other people's ideas, experience, and other people's work. That is why building a sales team, because there's people here that are in direct sales, whether with my company or a different company, and you're a salesperson only. What if you get sick? What if you get injured? I had the coronavirus a couple of weeks ago. I was sick for 2 weeks. I was working 1 hour a day. Luckily, I have a lot of sales coming in from my team, a lot of personal sales coming in. I didn't skip a beat. My income went up those 2 weeks that I was sick. But so I've got friends that are real estate people, real estate agents. They do well for themselves. But one of them got sick for almost a month. He said he had 3 escrows fall out of escrow, about $8,000 each. He believes beyond a shadow of a doubt that those escrows would not have fallen had he been healthy. He says maybe one of them. That means that he missed out on $16,000 to $24,000, right? Because he was sick. Now, we can't avoid that. Some people are going to get sick. But through leverage, if you get sick and you got 200 people or 2,000 people or 20,000 people, the biggest sales organization I built was the last network marketing company I built, 120,000 people in 70 countries. I took 3 years off and made over $100,000 every year. I did not build anything. All I did was my minimum qualifications, 3 customers. And the company paid me about $150,000 a year for those 3 years that I didn't do a thing. I didn't attend a webinar. I didn't attend a meeting, none of that stuff. Okay, so I can attest to the power of building leverage and building a team. So I would highly encourage you to do that. So anyways, next Monday, same bat time, same bat channel. We're going to finish the last 3 steps of the 7 steps. And I hope you guys enjoyed this information. This video is recorded, so I'm going to be sharing it on YouTube. So if you've got people from your team that will get benefit from this, I would highly encourage you to get them to watch the replay. Okay. I appreciate you guys. God bless you. Thank you, Denise, on the chat. And thank you, everybody in the chat. That was, thank you, Ramon and Danny Zhang. Thank you for that. All of you guys on the chat participating and on here, I appreciate you guys. And hey, guys, you guys are doing this at a great time. You guys are attending. That is one of the separators. You guys are attending these trainings. Thank you, Mark and Isela. When most people are taking this time off. Build momentum into 2021. Build momentum into 2021. Don't start momentum in 2021. Start building it right now. And the momentum is with your sales, with your recruits, and your personal growth. Build that momentum, because most people, you hear me say this all the time for those of you guys that follow me, most people say 2021, here comes that new year, new me BS. But if it's so important, why won't they start right now? If it's so important to you, why not start right now? And for those of you guys that are on my sales team and you want to have a serious 2021, I want you to message me directly, because in 2021, I'm going to put a mentorship group of 20 people in my sales organization that want to make minimum $100,000 in 2021. And I'm going to be very quick in cutting people off that are bullshitters. I want go hitters, not bullshitters. So if you're serious about it, message me, because we will have additional trainings, goal settings, and accountability on stuff that you got to do to close X amount of deals and build a team X amount of size, right? So make sure you do that. And the last thing is this, guys. January, my podcast is launching. It's called Driven, Not Given. For people that are driven, that achieve big things and that want to achieve big things and didn't have it given to them, but they achieved it because they were driven. I've got multimillionaires in the wings waiting to get on the podcast. I've got current MMA world champions right now that are going to be on the podcast. It's going to be, if you want to take your business and your mindset to another level, that podcast is going to be insane. So anyways, if you're not following me on social media, follow me on social media, JC Rangel Mindset on Instagram, and look me up, JC Rangel on Facebook, and you can't miss me. All right, guys, have a good one.